You ever thought about getting yourself and your family a dog? Dogs may be man's best friend and loyal companions to the end, but dogs require loads of upkeep, care, and can be kind of expensive sometimes. Dogs require regular visits to the veterinarian's office to make sure that they're healthy, they're eating right, they're getting enough exercise, and they're socially healthy. Dogs also require regular feeding and care. The cheapest dog food brands might be the cheapest and easiest to buy, but cheap dog food brands aren't usually made of nice ingredients. So to make sure your dog is actually healthy as he should be, you might need to dig a little deeper into your wallet to make sure your dog is alright. Dogs are also very social, and training is very important in order to have a dog, especially with children. Some children don't understand that dogs can't eat whatever they want, as they may feed it off the plate, feed it chocolate, which is highly bad for your dog. Loads of problems could arise. You need to make sure that your dog knows that you're in charge. Dogs consider the family they're in a pack, in which someone has to be a leader. If the dog doesn't see someone else as a leader, it will try to become a leader. And once it's a leader, it won't follow instructions, it can become rowdy, and it'll just leave messes wherever it goes. This can be even more of a problem if you have a kid, because the dog could push your kid around, take food from him. It could just be a whole mess you don't want to get into. Proper training is very important for dogs, as without it, you could just have one mess after another. About owning a dog, there's some important things you need to make sure that you and your parents understand before you get a dog. Dogs are man's best friend for a good reason, because they're always loyal and loving companions. But they will only be that way if you show them the love and care that they so desperately want. If you're mean to your dog, and you don't feed it, play with it, or you're mean to it in such ways as pulling its tail when it's not trying to play with you, your dog might become mean and unhappy. If your dog is acting strange, you might also need to tell your parents that it's sick. And it's very, very important not to ever let your dog have any food. From you, of course. Dogs' stomachs act differently than people's stomachs do. So, foods that we might think are delicious, such as chocolate, could be very bad for a dog, make the dog very sick. If your dog gets a hold of anything like chocolate or just bad food for your dog, you should immediately tell your parents before your dog gets sick. If your dog does get sick, if it's small amounts, there's not much need to worry, as you can always go to a doctor, have the doctor fix up your dog. But if it's large amounts, your dog might get sick very badly. You might have to get a new dog. Aside from that, dogs are great household companions because they've always been loyal. They're essentially your best friend on 4 legs. A dog that's well treated for can always be man's best friend and will never leave his side, but only if you take good care of your dogs. You also need to make sure that you play with your dog and let your dog know that you are in charge and you love your dog. If your dog thinks that you don't like it, it'll become sad, and it won't play around with your family that much, and it'll eat less. It's very important to make sure that your dog feels well cared for.